Hi grades 3, this is Miss David. So today we are going to learn how to add and subtract our hours and minutes. For this one, I am looking at your textbook page 84 to 85, and in your workbook, you will be working on exercise 40 at the end of this lesson. So first, we are going to look at some subtracting problems, subtracting time, and then on the next page, we'll be looking at adding time. Now let's look at our first example. So we have 1 hour and take away 40 minutes. Now what is 1 hour? How many minutes are in an hour? Okay, there are 60 minutes, right? So basically I have 60 minutes and I need to take away how many? 40. So if I have 60 and I take away 40, I am left with 20 minutes. Now let's look at our second example. I have 2 hours and 40 minutes. Now again, I know my 2 hours, just like my 1 hour, is made of 160. My 2 hours are made of 2 60s. So for my help, I am going to write down 60 and 60 to help me remember that my 2 hours are made up of 2 60s, right? So then I am going to use my second 60 to subtract 40 minutes, right? But my first 60 remains. I didn't touch it. So I know 60 minutes again equals 1 hour. So I know that my answer is going to be 1 hour, some minutes. So I'm going to use my second 60. So this was my first 60. My second 60, I'm going to use to subtract my minutes. So I have 60 minutes and I take away 40 minutes. That's the first, just like the first example. So I have 20 minutes left, right? So I'm left with 1 hour and 20 minutes. Let's look at our third example. Now in our third example, I have 1 hour and 5 minutes and I need to take away 30 minutes. So I have 1 hour, 5 minutes. Now I know that again, my 1 hour means how many minutes? It means I have 60 minutes. So I have 60 minutes and I have 5 minutes. That gives me plus 5, right? And we need to subtract 30 minutes. So I am not going to touch my 5. You can do it 2 ways. Either you can not touch your 5 yet and subtract 60 and 30, which is easier because 60 take away 30 gives me 30. And then I can just add my 5 to my 30, which gives me 35. Or you can do it this way. You can combine both these numbers, my hour and minute, so it would be 60 plus 5, which would be 65. And I can do 65, take away 30, and I would be left with 35. Okay? Or I could have done it the other way, the first way I told you. So 60, and I don't touch my 5 yet, and I take away 30. So I would be left with 60, take away 30, gives me 30. And then I just add my 5 to it, and I would have 35 still, okay? So you can do it 2 ways. Then I have my 3 hours and 5 minutes. Now again, I can do it. I know my 3 hours are made up of how many 60s? 3 60s, right? So I have 160. I have 260 and I have 360, right? So 1, 2, 3. 3 hours are made up of 3 60s. Now, I need to remember, and then I also have 5 minutes here, right? So what I can do is I am going to leave, I'm not going to touch these 260s, but I'm going to touch this one, and I am going to subtract first, okay? So I have my 260s, and 260s equal how many hours? 1 hour, 2 hours. So I have 2 hours. We don't know how many minutes we have yet because we haven't subtracted our minutes yet. So I have 60 here. Again, as I showed you here, I can either add this 5 to my 60 and make it 65, or if it's easier for me to subtract 60 and 30, I can do that first. So 60 take away 30 would give me 30, and since I didn't touch these 5 minutes, I can just add that to my 30 minutes. So 60 take away 30 plus 5 gives me 35 minutes. Or I could have added 60 and this, so 60 plus 5 would have given me 65, take away 30 minutes, and I would still have 35 minutes. Okay, does that make sense? So I divided up my hours so that I know how many 60s I have, and each 60 makes 1 hour. Now let's look at a few examples where we have to add time. Okay, so I have 30 minutes and 30 minutes plus 50 minutes. Now I know that my hour is made up of 60 minutes, right? So that means if this is 50, and if I were to count up, so I have 30 and I need to count up, I can either do it 30 and then out of this 50, so in 30, what do I need to add to make it into 60? So 30 plus 30 gives me 60, right? So in this 50, I am going to I'm going to divide this 50 into 2 parts. I'm going to say, this 50 is made up of 30 and 20. I already have my 30 minutes here, and I am going to add these up now. So I have my 30 minutes, and out of this 50, I quickly borrowed, for a quick second, I borrowed 30 more minutes, and so I know that now I have 30 plus 30 makes 60, which makes 1 hour. So equals 1 hour, and then voila, we only have 20 more minutes left. So altogether, I have 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay, I'm quickly going to review this one again. So I had 30 minutes and I had 50 minutes. And I asked myself, if I have 30 minutes here, what do I need to make it into 60 so that it becomes an hour? So this was 50, so I borrowed 30 out of it first. This was just to help me, right? We can do it any way we like, but this is so that it helps us understand. So 30 minutes, and then I divided up my 50 into 2 parts. I knew that in 50, I do get 130 at least. So I am going to quickly borrow it out to make this one into 60, which would give me 1 hour. And that's much easier, right? So then I quickly write down 1 hour, and look, I am only left with 20 minutes. So I quickly write that down here. Then we have our next example is 6 hours, 45 minutes plus 20 minutes. Now, if we look carefully, I am not even going to touch my 6 hours yet. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I am going to look at this 45 and 20. And we learned that 60 minutes are, 60 minutes are, make up 1 hour. And if we have 60 minutes, that means we have a complete hour. So I'm going to look at my 45 and I'm going to look at my 20. Now in 45, what do I need to add so that this becomes a 60? So let's look at this. 45, let's see. For now, we are going to look at it as if it's, so this is 40, okay, and 5. So right now, this 40 is made up of 40 and 5, okay? So I have 10 fours and I have 5 ones. So 40 and 5, it's made up of 45. Then I have 20 minutes over here. So in 40, if I add 20, that is going to give me 60, which means it is 1 hour. So in 40, I'm not going to touch my 5 yet. I'm only going to touch my 10s. So 40 plus 20. So 40, 50, and 60. And that means 60 minutes mean an hour. So which means 6 hours, 45 minutes plus 20 minutes. How many hours do I have so far? I just made up this 1 more hour, right? I haven't touched my 5 yet. But 40 and 20 gave me another hour. So that means my final answer is going to be 7 hours. Since I have not touched these 5 minutes, I am only left with that, okay? So 7 hours and 5 minutes, because I know that I didn't even touch them. I only touched my 10s. So that gave me an hour. And then that 1 hour was added to 6 hours, which made it into 7 hours and 5 minutes. Okay, grade 3, I really hope that it